The Children's Bible, Genesis 37. Joseph and his brothers. Now Jacob dwelt in the land where his father had been a stranger, in the land of Canaan. His son Joseph, now a strong and healthy lad, daily fed the flock with all of his brothers, the sons of his father's wives. And Joseph brought his father an evil report of them. Jacob loved Joseph more than all of his sons, because he was the son of his old age. So he made for him a coat of many colors. When his brothers saw that their father loved Joseph more than all of his brothers, they hated him, and could not speak to him in a friendly way. Joseph dreamed a dream and told it to his brothers, and they hated him all the more. He said to them, "Hear now this dream which I have dreamed. We were in the field binding sheaves, and lo, my sheaf arose and stood upright, and your sheaf stood around about and bowed down to my sheaf." Then his brothers said to him, "Would you indeed be king over us? Would you really rule over us?" They hated him all the more on account of his dreams and on account of his words. He dreamed another dream and told it to his brothers. "Behold, I have dreamed another dream," he said. "The sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to me." He told the dream to his father, and his father rebuked him, saying, "What is this dream you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers really come to bow ourselves down to the earth before you?" His brothers were envious of him, but his father remembered the dream. Now his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem, and one day Jacob said to Joseph, "Your brothers are feeding the flock in Shechem. Come, I will send you to them." "Here I am," said Joseph. "Go then," said Jacob, "and see whether all is well with your brothers and the flocks, and bring me word again." So he sent Joseph out of the valley of Hebron, and the boy arrived at Shechem. He was wandering in the field when a certain man found him and asked him, "What are you looking for?" "I am looking for my brothers," he said. "Can you tell me where they are feeding the flocks?" "They went on from here," the man said, "for I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him far off, even before he came close to them, they plotted against him and wanted to kill him. They said to one another, "Behold, here comes the dreamer. Come now, let us kill him and throw him into a pit. We will say that some wild beast has devoured him. Then we will see what will become of his dreams." But Reuben heard this, and he said, "Let us not kill him, shed no blood. Instead, throw him into this pit here in the wilderness, but do not lay hands on him." He planned to save Joseph from their hands and deliver him to his father again. So it happened that when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors which he was wearing. Then they took him and threw him into the pit. The pit was empty, there was no water in it. Then they sat down to eat bread, but when they lifted up their eyes, behold, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites arriving from Gilead, their camels loaded down with spices, balm, and myrrh, which they were carrying down to Egypt. Then Judah said to his brothers, "What will we gain if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Instead, come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites. Let's not touch him, because really he is our relative after all." This satisfied the brothers. They lifted Joseph out of the pit and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And the merchants took Joseph to Egypt. When Reuben came back and looked in the pit, behold, Joseph was no longer in the pit. Reuben tore his clothes in grief. Then he went to his brothers and said, "The child is not there, and I, where shall I go?" The brothers took Joseph's coat, killed a young goat, and dipped the coat in the blood. Then they brought the coat of many colors to their father, saying, "We found this. Do you know whether or not it is your son's coat?" He recognized it and said, "It is my son's coat. A wild beast has devoured him. Joseph has been torn into pieces." Then Jacob tore his clothes in grief, and put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted, and said, "I will go down to the grave mourning for my son." Thus his father wept for him.